Okay, it's been a while since we got our news from a friend of the channel, BoredGamer. Star Citizen now working towards 1.0, but Alpha 4.0 is coming soon. Let's check out what BG has to say.
Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen development update. We've got the latest Persistent Universe monthly report looking at what Cloud Imperium have been doing over the last few weeks and what they're focused on now in June 2024. This is a summary of that monthly report post that CIG put up, and it's going to have some added context. There is a lot of Alpha 4.0 feature work as well as a conscious start to a Star Citizen not so Alpha 1.0 commercial release, although it would be a minimum viable product. But there's also new game modes here like FPS Horde mode in the works. Let's jump in. Let's start with ships and the ship team. The Lot Zero was completed for the Zeus Mark II, so the Lot Zero being the highest detail version of the exterior of the ship. The team are delivering a significant amount of work to dramatically increase the detail in all areas of the ship. For example, lighting across the entire ship has been designed to bring out the volume and highlight details, while animation passes were done across all moving parts.
Which, you know, we gave away the Zeus Mark II, what was it, the MR version, which is the slick one. It was like black, man. It's nice. So we gave that away a couple months ago. I think it was around like December or January we gave that away. And initially when I saw this at CitizenCon, I was like, oh no, I didn't like it. But then when I got to see the stats on it and I actually got to, we watched the modeling of it. We actually got to go inside and scope out the interior. It was much bigger than I originally thought that it was from CitizenCon. And I actually grew to love the design of this.
With many receiving secondary motion to communicate a sense of weight. The next stage is a wear pass and completion of the ship's damage states. We are expecting the ES version of the ship to be released with Alpha 4.0 later this year. Material passes were also done to help unify the look and feel of new RSI ships
of the
in
Zeus,
the future.
guys? You like the Zeus?
They are working on things like the Polaris. They're going to be working on the Perseus. They're going to be working on the Galaxy. They all share a load of parts that working on one will allow them to make the others a lot quicker and easier. For ship art, there are 3 other ships that have entered the white box stage, although CIG has not defined exactly
How you doing, buddy? I didn't even know you were in here.
VFX completed effects passes on several new vehicles, including 4 thrusters and damage. Work also began on jump point effects. These have existed as prototypes for a while, but the team focused on getting the effects fully functional, working closely with the VFX programmers and feature team. The UI team has been updating the heads-up displays across multiple ships to improve their functionality and aesthetics, as they also sort of convert more of the MFDs to the building block system and add more variants for the different HUDs of ships with different manufacturers. The core gameplay pillar teams worked on closing out tasks and bug fixing for the Alpha 3.23 cycle. While part of the team focused on the final touches for the cargo feature, the majority continued to work on gameplay features for 4.0 and beyond. They completed a significant amount of work on the multi-tool refactor planned for 4.0. This will provide a more streamlined experience by putting the tool's primary attachment action on the left mouse button and the secondary action on the right. Planning for the remaining multi-tool refactor work, such as an updated UI and battery consumption, were also completed. Multi-tool is obviously going to be incredibly important for Squadron 42, enabling you to have sort of like a utility tool to do a huge range of operations, because the military version is all the multi-tools in one, I believe, but obviously the multi-tool allows you to do a ton in Star Citizen, though you will typically need a particular attachment. It's super important. For biome accumulation, they completed further Squadron 42 porting work and scoped out how the feature will integrate into the weather system. Charge and drain also continue through pre-production and will now utilize the resource network, support multiplayer, and the ability to charge and drain distortion damage from ship components. So this basically goes, my ship has had this particular component damaged by, distortion damage of some description, and now you can effectively repair distortion damage. Quantum travel is being reviewed to assess any aspects that need to be made server meshing compatible beyond issues observed during tech preview tests. We do know that Cloud Imperium are also working on an updated quantum travel overhaul, and this will have you
this, and I'm hoping that they're just not going to copy paste a very quick quantum travel to say that they're trying to cope with server meshing, right? Like, I hope they do, like, I hope that's not the end result of this, where like all of a sudden quantum travel is like, boom, you know, I'll be like, oh no. And I hope the Cloud Imperium isn't going to use that as an excuse because of what they've designed for Squadron 42. I'm not quite sure. Just one of the fears that I have when I read this initially.
While you're accelerating
I don't either.
into your quantum.
Listen, I don't either, Hugh, but with some of these changes I've seen, it does worry me. Like when Chad McKinney started talking about bed logging and how they don't foresee like bed logging being like a thing that they might get into, I got really worried, man. Because bed logging, I think, is super important to keep into the game. And hearing Chad McKinney's remarks about bed logging, I got really worried, man. You know? So when I hear this about like how they've got to kind of review quantum travel because of server meshing tech, trust me, it's got me a little bit nervous, Hugh. And I think you understand why.
Quantum jump, keep your ship within the corridor or tunnel that you're sort of forming as you're trying to quantum jump. I should say quantum travel. If you don't, then your quantum travel will effectively fail, and you'll have to wait a little while before you can go back and try and quantum travel. So bear that in mind. Once you get up to sort of speed, once you've gone through the acceleration phase, you can go hands off. Again, it's just literally when you enter quantum travel or when you're like quantum boosting short distances that you'll have to keep within that quantum tunnel. Support for the Arena Commander engineering mode was provided to allow items to be repaired once they reached 0 health. Obviously, this is important.
It's interesting because what BoredGamer said is like the quantum tunnel kind of thing, you know, like how Frontier had that, where like you had to stay in a lane, like you hit like there was jumping from system to system, but there's also like a warp travel where you would warp around a system. It's kind of similar to what I'm seeing here
as well, because they're working on engineering for 4.0 as part of the actual release, not just in Arena Commander. There are locomotion improvements for NPCs performing shot turns, and they've been completed, which will allow characters and creatures to switch direction much more smoothly. Work required to adapt the inventory system to server meshing was scoped out, as it will require a rework of its back end to scale appropriately. The initial version of jump drive failure events were implemented in May. Now, when a ship's jump drive is disabled or damaged, the player will be forced out of the tunnel, which correctly aligns with the exit point in the destination star system. Further improvements to debug tools for jump point gameplay were implemented as well. For engineering gameplay, the team implemented power pools, which will allow the streamlined power management of grouped items like weapons and thrusters. The resource network was enabled by default in the main Star Citizen development branch, which ensures all teams can now work with it and integrate their features or content with it. So yeah, it's part of the dev branch sort of.
I really like what they did by inserting this type of gameplay into the Arena Commander, and I talked about this, I think the week before last, how I'd like to see like a lot more of these task-specific game mechanics or game loops within the genres of whatever it is you decide to be implemented into Arena Commander. So like, you know, if you're an engineer, you can practice being an engineer in Arena Commander. If you're involved in any other industrial aspects or ship management aspects, you can do that in Arena Commander, and then Arena Commander could then do what they did for engineering for other ship management tasks or game loops within Star Citizen, whether they're in there currently, like refueling, like a refueling training course. Like you could get people up to date by actually including these types of game designs that are currently in there, like the refueling and engineering, and you can put these in the game in the Arena Commander. You could do it for mining. Like, you know, like you could separate all these types of gameplays into tabs in Arena Commander. Like for people that want to mine, like have something in Arena Commander that says mining. Click on mining. Boom. You know, you're inside there. You got a prospector. You get a free prospector. You land yourself in a prospector. You're going at the asteroids in the belt, or you're on a planet or a moon, and you're training right off the bat. If you guys think that's a good idea, put a 1 in the chat. I think they should do that for every type of game mechanic that's in there to get people up to date, so they know what they know what they're playing. I think that's just common sense, right? Yeah, I mean, like, why not? Since this, I would have never really thought about this had I not seen this in Arena Commander and seen engineering in there. When I saw it in there, the lights just went on, and I was like, well, why don't they just do this for all the gameplay that's currently in there? You know, mining, hand tool mining, repairing, salvaging. Like, just have tabs in Arena Commander. You could have an industrial tab in Arena Commander. Click the industrial tab and it open up a tree of all different types of industrial tasks. You could have ship management button. You push a ship management button. Boom. Engineering. Whatever. You know, whatever game mechanics in the game currently. Boom. And then people would know what to do in the situations. When they're in the PU, they'd be like, oh yeah, I did this in Arena Commander. Just makes sense. Bounty, right? You could have a bounty hunting one where you do an actual bounty hunting mission. You could have the mission types. You could have a tab that says mission types. Push on mission types, and then you got your search, your investigation, your bounty hunting, your mercenary, you're like all your different types of missioning down there. You could like do a practice mission so that you know what you're getting yourself into when you do the real thing in the PU, right? And then you could have a tab that says frustrated as hell, and you click on it and it's just the bugs that you experience, only bugs, and you fall through planets and moons and it just gives you bugs all over the place. There's a tab for that already, Felix. It's the persistent universe one. Oh, that was good, Felix.
Normally now.
That was good,
for
Felix.
Transit, the team continued general release support for the 3.23 branch and the upcoming cargo and personnel hangar update. Scope technical planning discussions concluded for the Transit refactor, which is now in active development. Obviously, this needs to be made working with server meshing. Estimates and scheduling were completed for the remaining radar and scanning tasks, including deliverable targets. Work was done on the objects of interest mechanic, which will allow designers to set up objects within the Persistent Universal Squadron 42 with various parameters and a special scan highlight. A special material was also applied when an object is occluded so that it shows one material when within line of sight and another when obstructed. The team also added a fading effect for highlighted objects based on distance. Additionally, work was done on
Backspace is in a real bad spot right now. I get you, bro. I've been there and back again. Backspace says, like, I know it's going to be a fun game, but it's not going to be the fun game I pledged for, and that hurts. And I get where you're at, man. I think we've all been in this, dude. Like, Backspace, I think we've all been in your spot, bro. Like, you know, like, I want to give you a little hope and just say that everything that we've got currently will all, like, it can all be changed. Like, I've seen so many changes, dude. I've been involved in this for like 10 years, Backspace, and I'm telling you, like, there's times where I'm just like, shit, this isn't going the way I thought it was. And then changes are made that make me feel better. And then there's changes that are made that make me feel worse. It's a fucking roller coaster, Backspace. So don't worry, dude. Don't worry. Backspace says, I know, man, I get it, but what I was sold is not going to be coming. Well, you don't know that, though, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make that you know, it's not etched in stone, man. You know, it's not etched in stone. Don't do that. You're foreshadowing. You're giving yourself a bad, you're going to give yourself a bad headache, dude. You don't know. You don't know. You think you know. You don't know. Maybe. Okay. Maybe it does. But let's just go with the flow. Let's take a breath and like voice out though. You know what, the thing that always helps, and the reason why I think I focus on this a lot is because like I want to shape this into the game I like to play just like you, right? So like I use my channel to voice out. You should do it. Do it on your channel, Backspace. You're doing great. You almost got 2,000 subscribers, bro. Just talk about this shit. Talk about the shit you don't like. You should make videos like that too. Listen. By the way, my friend Backspace, everybody, I love him. Can we, first off, gave $100 of merch out tonight. Awesome dude. Love Backspace. Great creator. Ties in music with wonderful editing. Star Citizen gameplay. Best I've ever seen. Diamond in the rough, we call him. Diamond in the rough. Love him. And And, you know, how long have you been a content creator now, bro? Like over a year? Like how long have you been doing this for now, dude? Just type up backspace Star Citizen creator, or Star Citizen backspaced creator. 2 years? 2 years, man. And maybe you should start making videos where you voice out. It make you feel better. Trust me. Like, dude, there's been a lot of things I've been upset about where I've spoken very loudly, dude. Very loudly. And the changes were made. You know, like, I think as content creators, we do influence. Like, I laugh when I laugh when I hear content creators and they're like, you know, we don't influence anything. Yes, you do, motherfuckers. Because you're talking about it and you got a following, so they're going to listen to you. They will listen to you. Trust me. They're watching. I know people at SIG. Trust me. There's plenty of other content creators that know people at SIG. They watch us. And when we say stuff, trust me, it influences them. It influences them. So, like, dude, go. Just go. Just push play and go. Let it be your fire, dude. Let what you're feeling right now be your fire to get your voice out there and you know, make it the game you want to see, bro. Trust me. It's worked. I've seen it. I've seen it work here. I've seen it work here on this channel, man. And it's a great vibe. It's a great feeling because you know you did it and you're like, wow. So, like, they are influenced by what we say still to this day with game design. Like, a lot of people say, oh no, DG, don't talk about this. This is just going to be more feature creep. Give me more feature creep. I want this to be the everything game. I'm cool with it. I'll still theory craft. It's motherfucking 2024. I'm still theory crafting. I don't give a shit. Like, I've been waiting this long. I can wait longer. I'll theory craft shit right now. People get upset. They're like, oh, DG, he's adding feature creep. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, dude. I'm cool with it. You know, more. I got patience like you can't believe.
Including organization information in FPS scan data, while new sound effects were added when attempting to ping while the ability is on cooldown.
You don't have to, though.
The
team
also completed checks between Persisting Universe and Squadron 42 streams, raising differences so that the team could continue to port features from the Squadron 42 feature set over to the Persistent Universe. The team also activated FPS radar and other experimental radar features across Arena Commander. These systems will be reassessed closer to the release of Alpha 4.0 for a potential preview via Arena Commander. Initial work was completed on the first pass of a new EVA-only map for Arena Commander FPS gameplay modes, with playtests scheduled for the coming weeks. Additionally, they've begun marking up all Arena Commander locations with the room system, so they're compatible with radar. The Good Doctor was completed, with the rest expected to be finished in the coming weeks with that sort of radar refactor in mind. 2 new strike teams were created to focus on 2 modes, one of which is FPS Horde mode for Arena Commander. For FPS Horde, the game mode and initial setup were completed alongside deliverable scope discussion and task breakdown. The primary goal of this mode is to provide developers with a fast, easy and reliable way to iterate on the development of spawn closets, creature and human AI, and FPS radar. The team will assess the game mode closer to Alpha 4.0 on the feasibility of introducing it as a publicly playable experimental mode. Further progress was made on the mission system refactor, including the implementation of the contract generator, the querying of active and completed missions from the mission.
Here's the thing with the missions and the contracts right now. It's a cluster. I can tell you I've been playing pretty hardcore these past 3 weeks. And I would say I've been going through, I don't PvE generally speaking. It's been a while since I PvE'd. I just kind of cruise around and do my own thing, PvP from time to time, and just enjoy the sights, you know? So I was like, you know what? It's been a long time since I've dabbled in some PvE. Let me try and grind these missions. And trust me, that's like going to the dentist for me. It's like me doing this was a Herculean task. Fucking for me to take on PvE, oh my god, my teeth hurt right now. I'm just like, I feel like I'm at the dentist. I'm not a PvEer generally speaking, but I'm like, I gotta do this. I'm a content creator. Just get in this, do it. Okay. So I did all different types. I did the maintenance, the mercenary missions, the bounty hunter missions. I just dived real deep. I even did the fucking box missions. The delivery missions, man. The search missions. I went whole hog and I did all of them. I would say in these past 3 weeks, I've probably accepted at least 5 to 6 different types of contracts within each branch. Okay. And this is just based on my experiences in the past 3 weeks since the new patch. I can tell you that at least 20% of them did not spawn a navigation point. Okay. There was no spawn. I can say that at least another 20% of them were borked. When I got there, it was just like, forget about it. You know, it was just not worth it. A lot of these missions aren't worth even doing. Okay. So overall, the experience of PvE grind was not satisfactory for me. Now, granted, I'm biased because I don't like PvE. Okay. But this experience was not the best experience. And what I would say is an initial way, and I talked about this about an hour and a half or 2 hours ago. I think the best thing to do right now to put a Band-Aid on this in this alpha form is to raise the rewards. Can I get an amen?
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen? Yes.
Raise the rewards substantially. Like 30% increases across the board just to start, because you want to keep people in the game. You want to keep people playing. And if they have a bad experience, whether they're bugged, whether they have a bad physics grid issue, whether they had a bad latency issue, whatever it may be, that those 50% of experiences are bad, that they come back again because the rewards are higher. Okay. I see a lot of people in chat agreeing with me right now. This is what I would do. First off, for a Band-Aid. Secondly, I'm talking to Elliot. Elliot stops by every once in a while. I haven't seen him here for a while, but Elliot Muldoon, I believe is his last name. But Elliot's comes in on the Inside Star Citizen Review. He does a lot of the mission design, right? He works through Maltby, Elliot Maltby. Sorry, not Muldoon, Maltby. Yeah. And this is directly towards Elliot. I would just go over these with a fine-tooth comb and revamp these motherfucking missions. Can I get an amen on that? Do I hear an amen? Like a revamp on all these things just to like avoid the bugs that we currently know?
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen?
Clean this shit up. Clean this shit up. A lot of people do these. I'm not one of them. And I just got into this, right? After years of not doing PvE. I'm like, I'm going to dive in and get a first impression of this. Clean this shit up. It is a no nonsense thing to keep asses in seats. Isn't that the whole deal? Don't we want to keep asses in seats? As Fut says, nuts and butts in the seats. We want to keep that. Go over these, Elliot, with a fine-tooth comb, and if these things have known bugs, like the investigation missions, are you fucking kidding me? They're horrible. The investigation missions are absolutely horrible. A lot of these investigation missions, you got to rely on physics and jump, and it's all fucked up. Like, you're not finding anybody. You know what you're investigating? You're investigating why the missions are so bad. Go. I had to. That was pretty good, I thought. Go over these, Elliot. You're the mission dude. Go over these and pool them. Get them out. I don't care. This is going to sound insane. Okay, you guys are not going to like what I have to say right here. I think the majority of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I got to say what's got to be said. If in any way there are known bugs and it's a bad experience because of just game design and level design, pull them out of the fucking mission queue. Just pull them out. I don't care if there's 2 missions in this motherfucker. If you're pulling out and 90% of these motherfucking missions are gone, get them the fuck out. They're garbage. Because people are going to not come back. Can I get an amen on that one? Can I get an amen? Am I spitting some fucking knowledge tonight?
I'm in a fountain.
Too, because like, you know, there's so many people. They're like, oh, DG, he doesn't even play Star Citizen. Fuck you. I've been playing it since before there was a game. I was in the hangar imagining the game. Go check it out. It's in the history of the channel. I was in a fucking hangar talking about shit that wasn't even out yet. And guess what? The shit I was theory crafting and talking about is what's in now. You're welcome. Wait. They're not. No. I don't want to take credit for that, right, Felix? Okay, no. I don't want to take credit for anything. I have more than a fucking Aurora, you asshole, Daft. I know, Speem. We've been at this so long. We are so the old dogs, man. You remember the old veteran inside Wing Commander? Who the fuck was the old veteran? The dude in Wing Commander that was the old dog, man. That's the guy I feel like right now in Star Citizen, man. That's the dude.
Service and the rework of the mission sharing flow. Further support was given to mission design for the updated delivery contract system that interacts with the upcoming freight elevators as well. Gameplay features continued with the closeout of freight elevators, storage access kiosks, instanced and personal hangars, and commodity trading updates. The UI flow is currently being updated to provide a more streamlined experience when managing the warehouse inventory and moving items via the freight elevator. Items like weapons, armor, and furniture.
Right. Paladin, bro. That's the motherfucker I feel like. Hold on, where's he at? Later played by James Taggart. Didn't even realize that. Holy shit. This motherfucker right here. Remember that? Remember this motherfucker from Wing Commander? I feel like motherfucking Paladin, dude. Or Taggart. Was his name Taggart? I'm not quite sure. James Paladin Taggart. Yeah, his call sign was Paladin. This is the motherfucker I feel like in Star Citizen right now, man. I love Maniac. Maniac was the sweetest. Maniac was awesome. Maniac. When you went out on a mission with Maniac, damn, shit got crazy. It was chaotic.
Can now be brought up too. Stacks of items can now be split into storage access and freight elevator kiosk UI, and filters for item categories were implemented. For the economy, the effort versus reward algorithm was documented, which enabled the economy team to determine the technicalities of implementing the mission system refactor. Once live, mission rewards will be based on time and difficulty to complete. Part of this involved establishing sensible time estimates for hauling missions and finalizing the reward balance for the Copion and Marok creature missions. A design for the refactor of the shop system is underway that will provide more flexibility for trading commodities and item shopping. Progress was also made on the algorithm to determine the base price of commodities. Interactables, liquid carrying cargo containers were worked on, with all sizes moving from white box to final. There's a load of awesome looking new cargo containers here.
It's going to be sweet. It's going to be sweet when we get these persistent hangers. A lot of people are like, we're not going to use them. I think I disagree. I think it's going to be like home base, and you're going to, like, I actually disagree. I heard a couple content creators saying, oh, you're never going to use your persistent hanger. I mean, like, yeah, I kind of am. I'm like Scrooge McDuck on that shit. I like to look at everything I've collected. I'm just that type of way. You guys remember old school hangers? You walk around and look at all your trophies and fucking, you know, your Van Duel vats and all this shit. And you just like, you know, you were like in heaven. Right. I'm going to build a casino, Speem. I'm going to, I'm going to build myself a casino in my persistent hanger. Dude, I kind of disagree with some of the people that are saying, oh, we'll never use persistent hangers. They're not going to be important. Shit, I am Scrooge McDuck on that. I will come back. I will dive. I'll be like, woo, DuckTales. Oh, woo.
Data was also made for search and destroy missions. The devs are currently working up to final with separate pieces that will be detached upon destruction. Lighting spent time finalizing work on instance hangars. They're now working on
Sax.
new content for Alpha 4.0.
Welcome to the
They also
channel,
began
dude.
working on a new cave archetype. The landing zone team fixed bugs for instanced hangars before moving on to mandates for Alpha 4.0, including crafting the remaining stations for Pyro. The organics team continued iterating on new biomes. Mission design continued working on cargo missions, specifically polishing the abandon flow.
Backspace,
This
okay,
is used when a player decides they no longer want to play the mission.
Dude.
For example, if they've picked up a load, the contract will give them an allotted time to deliver it to a closer location and take less of a reputation hit. If the player doesn't deliver the cargo in an allotted time, it will be marked as stolen. Planning was also done for the mission system refactor, which is required for server meshing. This will also bring the processes and pipelines used by the team up to date to ensure that it is aligned with the current standards. Future content plans are underway, with some actively being built. Mission design also aligned with tech design on their deliverables to see if more of their upcoming gameplay can be utilized. Pyro-based repair missions are actively being designed. These involve repairing components containing radiation and power management via the charge and drain system. Now, there's some interesting stuff going on with the narrative team. As part of the scoping of responsibilities for Star Citizen 1.0, they looked into taking a larger role in the oversight and maintenance of the social AI in the universe. This includes reviewing and adjusting existing civilian behaviors so the personalities of various locations and landing zones come through. The team is also prototyping new behavior types that will appear throughout some upcoming locations, as well as previously established ones. This led to initiatives to develop vertical slices of social spaces to test out a variety of larger scale mechanics, such as day-night schedules, updates to vendor and bartender behaviors, and some mission providers in a contained space to make sure they're providing the desired content before expanding. As part of 1.0 development, further work was done on the location stories for the major landing zones, with team members working with design to tailor the story to the gameplay. These missions will provide exciting opportunities for players to embark on adventures that embellish local storylines. They also continue to support upcoming patches by providing narrative content for some of the upcoming mission modules, providing additional in-fiction names and descriptions to items, and working with core gameplay teams on future mechanics.
These trade divisions, I think, are going to be a lot more important than they currently feel right now. I feel like these trade divisions are going to be pretty big hubs of activity in the future. I think they're setting the stage for trade divisions to be larger hubs, if you will, of multiple activities, which could be a disaster at the very beginning. In fact, it's kind of proving itself to be a disaster right now. I've been to a few, okay, but like I get where they're coming from this design that they're putting in. I like what they're thinking. I think they've executed so-so on these, but longer view, I think these distribution centers will play a very important part with the economy. I think a very important part with the economy. I don't know how that's going to merge with PvE missions happening at the same time. I think they got to be careful. They're trying to have this the everything magnet. They're trying currently to have this like the everything magnet, pull everything in, and it's not what it's doing. It's not what it's doing currently in game, but I think that's what they plan on these distribution centers being. Right now, because of servers and latency, it's not the greatest. It's scatological, if you will, if that's a word. It's kind of all over the place right now. They need to galvanize this. They need to kind of work on it and implement a strategy now rather than later. But, you know, that's my opinion.
The online services team focused on wrapping up the social services back-end refactor, which will improve the performance and scalability of social features, including chat, friends, and groups. It will also allow the service to handle more concurrent users and requests and help the team to add new features more easily in the future. The team also spent a significant amount of time helping to stabilize Alpha 2.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be esoteric. I think it'll be open to the public. And I think it'll be pretty easy to understand once once they have the design flow down, it's just not there yet. You know what I'm saying, Lako?
2023 cycle by triaging issues and bug fixing, including 12 critical and 24 major bugs. They also began working on potential 4.0 release features, such as the mission system refactor, the marker system refactor, and the player trade feature in support of server meshing. Player trade feature, is that going to be the ability to trade with other players? Am I going to be able to go,
I think so. I think the answer to that is yes. And again, I think that's down the road. That's what they want these places to be. They want these distribution centers to act or function in that manner. But again, they're trying to draw people in with like the missioning and you know, but essentially these are not going to be important until the economy, right? When economy. What's up, E-Rad? It's my buddy E-Rad. How you doing, man? Good to see you here. Go check out my friend E-Rad's channel. Awesome content creator and a very good friend of mine. Going through some times. What's up, unanticipated? Welcome to the fam. A lot of new faces tonight. Welcome to all the new viewers. By the way, if you're new here on the channel or you're new tonight, go check out these links here and think about becoming a YouTube member or a patron. And if you do, you will be entered in automatic giveaways. We are giving away for June for the combination one PERSEUS, and we're calling a winner in July, end of July. So the PERSEUS is a $500 package, LTI, brought to us by St. Eric. How will be his name?
Eric, Saint Eric, Saint Eric.
Does kick ass. We appreciate him. Thank you so much, St. Eric, for all that you do. Let's get back to the distribution centers here. Good talks tonight. Good talks.
you can have this ship and I want some money, or something like that. That would be absolutely fantastic. AI features work towards consistent behaviors across different combat scenarios, ensuring that AI characters react in believable ways, no matter what situation they're in. The team began by improving and unifying perception reactions, improving cover use in different scenarios, and making a holistic evaluation of all the combat elements to ensure they work as intended. This is particularly important with the recent improvements to the hostility system. For example, if an AI comes across two others fighting and they're friendly with both, doing nothing is not a valid response. As the first pass implementation for Alpha 3.23, the AI will run and cower when this situation arises, though this isn't ideal and will be improved upon for a upcoming release.
Most issues in regards to AI are server based. Most of them are latency issues. You know, until we get this mesh that we need so badly, I don't think we're going to have AI that we're happy with, period. Full stop. So, you know, once we're heading towards the first iteration of server meshing, going to be messy, right? But as they smooth it out, work on code, get it networked correctly, I think you're going to start to see AI improved. And God, I hope so. I hope so.
Tech made improvements to pathfinding. Improvements were also made to the functionality of NPCs pushing trolleys and using elevators alongside updated behaviors for elevator use, smooth animations when NPCs move away from trolleys, and improved functionality for NPCs.
You're not going to get anything smooth. You're not going to get anything smooth until you actually are working on that mesh that's so important to reduce that latency period. They're just going to jump all over the fucking place. And don't even get me started talking about the physics grid.
Smooth animations when NPCs move away from trolleys, and improved functionality for NPCs parking trolleys was also implemented. AI tech also began work to allow NPCs to understand when cover is being destroyed or parts of a usable are being destroyed. This will prevent NPCs from attempting to find or use.
Listen, I'm glad they're putting the work in the code for the AI. I'm glad of it. It's needed. But we're not going to see... Uh-oh. I got a call from my son here. Hold on one second.
Unsuitable cover. For ship AI, the team continued making improvements and fixing bugs related to following splines and backstrafing. The character art team completed the high poly phase for 2 specialist armors and continued updating the utility armor. A new heavy specialist armor began development too. The hair team began working on new hairstyles for future releases and for the customizer. Progress was also made on new creatures. Gameplay animation focused on numerous creatures, including the unreleased quasi-grazer, the space cow. And that is pretty much it for your updates today. I am very, very, very excited for Alpha 4.0 features, especially potential for that FPS sort of horde mode as well. I mean, obviously there's tons of stuff coming with 4.0. I'm super excited about server meshing, new star system with pyro, engineering. It's just something else to look forward to. I wanted a good, fun sort of FPS swarm mode to see what AI should be like in Star Citizen when stuff is operating properly. It's great to hear about all of those updates and the work towards 4.0, and it's really exciting to hear them talk genuinely about Star Citizen 1.0 and a commercial release, and obviously work going into that even now. But I'm really interested to know what you thought of that monthly report. Are you excited by anything you heard there? Are you disappointed about not hearing anything in particular? Were you expecting to hear something else? Something else you might want to do is look in the sort of links down below in the description or the comments for things like nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, the best darn NordVPN that I ever did advertise on my channel. Click on that if you want a discount for a VPN that gives you great security, privacy, and accessibilities to the interwebs. I use it. I really like NordVPN, and it's helped support the channel, you buying it through those links. Also, we've got some eye tracking stuff down below as well. You want your Tobii eye tracker, natively supported high precision.
All right, everybody. Sorry about that. I'm on the phone with my son currently. He is dog sitting. Sorry, Devin. Just give me a second here. The end of the video has happened, and I'm just informing people on the stream that you know what they said to me on stream? They said there's too much shill, and I can't stand when the shill happens. You understand, Dev? The shill, when somebody's trying to sell the product on like a video, like they've got like an ad in the video, the shill. Yeah, we're killing the shill. We're killing the shill. That's something that you must understand if you're going to do this, son. You have to kill the shill. Good on that, he says. He says good on that. Can we get an amen that my son understands that? Yeah, he's doing his own thing. That's my son. There you go. No offense against BoredGamer. He's an awesome dude. He's got to make a living, right? But never will I have shill. It's a blood oath on this channel that I will not have shill on this ever. Do you understand, son? You understand the importance of that? Going with the wind. That's my boy. That's my boy. But be careful if that wind ever tells you to shill out during your content. Don't do it. You understand? Don't do that. Don't listen to the wind in that case. I'll be there to protect you from that. I love you. I will be over there tomorrow, okay? Okay, love you too. Okay, you too, bud. Okay, bye-bye. All right, everybody, sharing life experiences with you. My son called. He's dog sitting at somebody's house and forgot his phone charger. And you know what dads have to do?
Yes, sir. You're not gonna eat me.
Dads got to be dads. Dads got to be dads. I'm teaching very valuable life lessons. You understand? Kill the shill. Okay, very valuable lesson. Also, got to be a dad. Got to go deliver a charger out to him. And bright and early in the morning, before my morning stream, I'm going to go over there. He's there with the doggos, and I'm going to show up with that charger that he forgot. I got to shame my son for 1 second because he should have remembered that. That's another lesson. I'm going to shame him. I publicly shame him right now. I'm publicly shaming my own son. Shame. No holds bar. I'm hardcore. You better watch out. I'll shame anybody. I'll shame anybody. Even my own son. How dare you, Devin? Get your charger. It's horrible. It's horrible. I think that's a first. I think that's a first where I shame my son publicly. He knows he should have his charger. Anyway, cool video by BoredGamer. Lots of news, lots of updates. Sorry, I kind of was not there at the end of that. But I did kill the shill for everybody. You're welcome. Thank you. I listen to you guys.
I'm here, folks.
I'm right here. You are right here in my heart. You see? But listen to me. While my son's talking to me, right, telling me he needs a charger, I'm paying attention still. I'm not the type of streamer that doesn't pay attention to my fans, to my loved ones, right? God, I got that multitask. I got that young man stamina. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
I'm in a photo.
You can't beat this.